Good morning, everybody. Well, it's too early to get up. Actually, it's probably more than too early. It's been snowing. Looks very nice out there. Well, so let's see. What should I say to you? I just heard from Mar Bear, who says that she's been watching me for years. Isn't that cool? We must be great friends by now. Must be nice. I wish I knew you people better. I know some of you. But anyway. So I'm avoiding getting up, I guess. Otherwise, I would have hopped out of bed, gotten dressed, maybe taken a shower, gone out and feed the deer. But I saw the beautiful snow falling. Oh, and then I FaceTimed my cousin, Mary. And that's why I didn't get up. Look at my eyes are looking right through the middle of my bifocals, right through the center there. Isn't that amazing? Oh, well. I have to see through the bottom of them. Now you can't see the line at all anymore. Oh, well. So it's about 8 o'clock or something this morning. Maybe it's after 8 now. I have this Fitbit thing. You see my Fitbit? And sometimes I do make a lot of steps. But when I was felting soap, it counted each time I rubbed the soap as a step. So I had like 10,000 steps. That was pretty cool. I got 5,000 steps the other day. I went for a walk down to the pond with Willem. Actually, we went around at the top of the hill, up at the parking lot place. Sometimes I like to walk there and try and cover every bit with footprints. Go round and around in a circle. Sometimes I get tired of it first, or my hip starts to hurt. That's right. Everything I do until my hip or my back starts to hurt. And the trouble with that is that if I sit for a while in my wonderful chair that is a recliner, and then I start to eat. And I'll just nibble. But by the time I get up, which is many hours later, I've nibbled a lot, and I never feel full. Never. So I was lying in bed this morning feeling like a walrus. Sometimes I feel round. Not anymore. Now I feel like a walrus. A walrus who can just slide. Have to stop. But I did stop eating cheesies. I stopped that a long time ago. But now I'm into cookies. Oranges and cookies. But sometimes I make some really nourishing soup. The trouble is, even if I eat nourishing soup, nourishing vegetables and stuff, I'll still sit around and eat cookies. So sometimes it's better not to bother with the nourishing soup and just have the cookies. Otherwise, I'm just way too big. But that's such a stupid idea, isn't it? Anyway, I see changes all over my body. And I can feel it when I'm eating. I'm eating and then I feel it somewhere and I think, oh my gosh, it's creating fat at this very moment in that very place. And then I look at my body and I say, oh my gosh, it's getting bigger. My arms are getting bigger. My legs are getting bigger. My whole trunk is getting bigger. And I have so many clothes of different sizes that when something is too tight, I just don't wear it. I don't like to have things on that are too tight. So I wear the next size up. And I'm fine to go. Trouble is, I never wear that other one again. You know, if that was my only skirt, I would have to wear it. And so I would notice when it's too tight and I would stop eating. Let myself shrink again. In the olden days, it was easy to do that. In the olden days. But I don't have so much body pain. Look at that beautiful chickadee right there. Isn't he cute? They eat out of my hand. They eat right out of my hand. Even if there's food beside them in the feeder, they'll still come and eat out of my hand. I think my hand, of course, is warmer than the metal on the bird feeder that they have to sit on. And who wants to get your little feet cold? And they run the risk of getting stuck to it, you know. If their feet have got snow on it, which is melted just a tiny bit, and their feet are wet, then they go sit on the metal, you'll get stuck to it when it's cold outside. Have you ever heard about that? Kids licking the metal at the playground and then they get their tongue stuck? Yeah, bad news, bad news. Hey, that's what would be good for me, get my tongue stuck, and then I couldn't eat. Ha 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 ha. But you know, if I ever felt full, I would stop eating. So maybe that's why I should eat lots of the soup, and then I wouldn't want to eat anymore. But if I eat salads, as soon as I'm done with a big salad, I want something like a cookie. Alas, alack. Oh, I never did hang up the phone. I gotta hang up the phone. I gotta go for a walk. Walk, 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 walk. It's beautiful out there. It's snowing. Willem and I have been walking down to the teepee, down Kingfisher Lane. Do you know what Kingfisher Lane is? It's the lane into the pond, into Fiddlehead Pond. I like naming everything. I name this and I name that. And now the hollow, where all the water collects when it comes down Dead Man's Run, and turns when it gets down to the Fiddlehead Patch. That is now called Indigo Bunting Hollow, because that's where the indigo buntings flit from bush to bush. Actually, they also like it in the alders. But I only ever see them when they're up in the top of the trees along the stream. The very tall tree. My hand looks very old. I'm an old hand. And a young face. Look at my young face and my old hand. My hand is regular color, flesh colored, and my face is red. So I didn't feed the deer this morning. I fed them last night. But they eat it. Somebody comes in the night. Hey, I've been learning how to tell males from females. Males have nubbins, the little nubs that are going to be antlers one day. And then those little nubbins make their head between their ears look flat. And females don't have them, so their head looks round in between their ears. So yesterday I realized that one of my baby deer is a male. Ha 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 ha. Isn't that cool? It's very cool. I'm going to go back and watch my deer videos. If I ever get into it. I've been watching Star Trek now. Star Trek is so way outdated, you know. These things that were so new and impossible are now like old thing. Like touch screens. Oh yeah, touch screens. I wonder if the ideas came from places like Star Trek. Of course, we still don't have phasers. Oh wait, what about those? Yeah, set them to stun. That would be like a... Oh, what is that thing they've got now? Those stun guns. Maybe they're called phasers. I don't know. I love being able to talk to my daughter in Germany. We've been chatting almost every day on iMessage. And my son in Vietnam. Oh, look, he's hanging upside down from this branch. It's not a branch, it's a piece of metal rod. I think I should take that one off and take it and put it above the window in the lofty tree fort. Or I could just take that hook. So I have just a hook there. One hook, as in captain. I have this book on hand feeding the birds. And my first entry in the notes section is like starling. And I thought, what? You're kidding. What did I write down there? Silly Nancy. And it turns out that Abe, in 2006, when he was called Abe, stood on the porch with some food in his hand, and a starling came down and ate it out of his hand. Isn't that amazing? Hand feeding the starlings. I have to enter all these things in about the downy woodpecker. That is so cool. And all these chickadees. Chickadee-dee-dee-dees. Hey, we was singing a spring song the other day. Oh, you know what? Yesterday I saw Desmond. Oops, where'd you go? And when I would yawn, I was holding him in my arm. And he didn't want to be in my arm, and I yawned really big, and then he leaned his head against me. And it was so cool. He was so content to lean his head against me when I yawned. I think it's because when his mommy and daddy take care of him in the night and they sit with him, they're trying to nurse him or feed him or just get him back to sleep, they'll yawn. And then he just sort of relaxes in. It was so sweet. He did that against me. He's a very, very busy little boy. A busy, busy, busy little baby. Boy, those little arms and feet. If I could do a bit of what he does, I would get to be such good shape. You know, wiggle his arms and wiggle his feet. I mean, he did it from nothing, right? He had no muscle strength when he was born. And he wiggled and wiggled and wiggled until he had such strength. He could sit up from laying on my legs. Yeah, I'll lay him down on my legs while I sit in the chair with my legs out. And I hold his hips or his thighs. And he could sit straight up. Up he goes. Very sweet. I like my little grandbaby. I go through withdrawal after about a week. All right, well, I guess I've been chatting away for a long time. I have nothing to say. And what will I call this? Update. Or chatting. And talking about what? Who knows? Anything and everything. About yawning. About Desmond, grandbaby. About the birds. About being in bed sleeping. About feeling like a walrus. Eating too much. All right, well, that's that. Now you know. Bye-bye. I'm going to stick my finger out and push the button. Here I come.